The boy sat alone at lunch until a janitor did this. He walked into the cafeteria like a ghost. No one looked up. No one waved him over. No one smiled. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe if you love meaningful stories, and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I really enjoy seeing where these stories travel. Liam had transferred to Westfield Middle School in the middle of the year. New schools were never easy, but this one felt different. Cold. Loud. Everyone already had their groups, their tables, their inside jokes. He stood just inside the cafeteria doors holding his tray, chicken nuggets, chocolate milk, and a banana, scanning for a place to sit. The tables were packed with kids talking over each other, laughing, throwing grapes. He walked past the first table, then the second, then the third. Not one person moved their backpack or nodded for him to join. So he kept walking. Eventually, he found an empty table near the back wall. It wasn't actually empty, just deserted. One side was stacked with forgotten textbooks and someone's hoodie, but there was enough room for one person. He sat down and stared at his tray. The food felt cold already. He poked at the nuggets, pretending not to notice the glances from across the room. A group of boys at the corner table leaned toward each other, whispering. One of them looked at Liam, then smirked. Liam kept his eyes down. He opened his milk carton. It splashed a little on the tray. His hand was shaking. Across the cafeteria, some kids were laughing so hard one of them nearly fell off the bench. Another group was tossing chips into each other's mouths. The noise bounced off the walls. No one seemed to notice the boy at the back table who hadn't said a word. By the time the bell rang, Liam had eaten one nugget and half the banana. He stood up slowly, dumped the rest into the trash, and left. The next day, the same thing happened. He entered the cafeteria, tray in hand, and scanned the room. The same crowded tables, the same loud laughter, the same groups locked in their own world. He walked to the same back table and sat alone again. This time, he brought a book. He figured if he looked busy, no one would notice how alone he was. He propped it open beside his tray and stared at the same sentence for 5 straight minutes. Someone walked past and bumped his tray. Ketchup smeared onto the page. Liam sighed and wiped it off with a napkin, making it worse. A teacher walked by, talking to another staff member. They didn't look at him. The third day, he skipped lunch entirely. He stayed in the library, said he wasn't hungry, but his stomach growled the whole time. On Thursday, he went back to the cafeteria. It was easier to pretend everything was normal. At least that's what he told himself. Same table, same food, same silence. He noticed something different, though. There was an older man sweeping near the vending machines. He wore a navy blue uniform with a name tag that read Mr. Ray. He had gray hair, a short mustache, and a kind face. Every few minutes, he looked over toward Liam's table, but he didn't say anything. Liam ate his lunch quietly. No book this time, just silence. The next day, Mr. Ray was there again, still sweeping, still watching. By the end of the week, Liam had gotten used to the routine. Enter, sit, eat alone, leave. The loneliness started to feel like part of the day, like math class or brushing your teeth. Just something you had to get through. He didn't cry, he didn't complain, he didn't ask for help. But inside, it started to feel heavy. Like every day, someone added a little more weight on his shoulders. Not enough to crush him, just enough to make him tired. No one noticed, except maybe the janitor. And that was about to change everything. Liam sat alone again. Same corner table, same gray tray, same silence. It had been 2 weeks since he transferred to Westfield Middle. 2 weeks of walking into the cafeteria and walking right past every full table. No one stopped him. No one invited him to sit down. No one even said hi. He had stopped looking for a seat after the 3rd day. Now he just walked in, kept his eyes low, and went straight to the back corner, the empty table with the textbooks and hoodie still there. No one ever touched them. He sat, opened his milk, ate a few bites, pretended not to notice the noise around him. The cafeteria was always loud. Kids laughed so hard you could hear it echo down the hall. They traded snacks, tossed chips into each other's mouths, stole fries from their friends' trays. Some scrolled on their phones in tight circles, huddled over videos. Others played card games or tapped out beats on the table. It all happened around him, but never with him. One time, he dropped his fork and it clattered to the ground. For a second, everyone near him turned. One boy at the next table looked at him and said, "You good?" Liam nodded quickly. The boy turned away just as fast. That was the only word someone had said to him in 4 days. He tried reading again, but his book felt heavy. He couldn't focus. The words blurred on the page. Every sound distracted him. Someone yelling across the room, a soda can fizzing open, a tray slamming down too hard. He flinched every time. The library was quiet, but they didn't allow lunch in there anymore, so he kept coming back to the cafeteria. He didn't want to look like he was avoiding people, even if he was. On Tuesday, he tried sitting at a different table, a smaller one with only 2 kids. Maybe they'd let him join. Maybe it would be different. He stood behind the table for a second. Both boys were on their phones. One looked up, raised his eyebrows, then said, "Someone's sitting here." Liam nodded like he understood. He turned away before they could say anything else and walked back to his usual spot. He didn't try again. On Wednesday, he skipped lunch. He told the office he had a headache. They let him sit in the nurse's office for half the period. He just wanted quiet. Just a place where he didn't have to pretend he wasn't watching everyone else. That night, he barely touched his dinner. His mom noticed. "You okay?" she asked. "I'm fine," he said. "Just tired." She looked at him for a moment, like she wanted to say more, but she let it go. He went to bed early, but he didn't sleep. Thursday morning, he thought about pretending to be sick, staying home, but he didn't. He got up, got dressed, and walked to school like always. It felt easier than explaining why he didn't want to be there. At lunch, he did what he always did. Grabbed his tray, walked past every full table, sat alone. Same food, same tray, same silence. But this time, something was different. Mr. Ray, the janitor, was sweeping the floor near the vending machines again. Same uniform, same kind face. And again, every few minutes, he looked over. Liam noticed. He looked back down quickly, hoping Mr. Ray hadn't seen him notice. But then something happened. Mr. Ray paused his sweeping. Just for a moment. He looked straight at Liam and gave him a small nod. A real one. Not like the fake, polite kind teachers give, but the kind that says, "I see you." Liam blinked. He didn't nod back. He wasn't sure what to do. But something about it stayed with him. All afternoon, through science class, through math. Even while walking home, he kept thinking about it. He wondered if Mr. Ray always noticed things like that. Or if maybe he had noticed him. It was the first time all week Liam didn't feel completely invisible. He didn't know it yet. But tomorrow, everything would change. Mr. Ray had worked at Westfield Middle School for nearly 20 years. He swept those same cafeteria floors every day, mopped up spilled chocolate milk, restocked the napkin dispensers, and unclogged more than his share of sinks. Most kids barely noticed him. But he noticed everything. He noticed when someone sat alone. He noticed when a kid stopped talking as much in the hallways. He noticed when someone's shoes got too small, or their hoodie never changed, or their lunch tray came back almost full every day. So when Liam showed up that Monday 2 weeks ago, looking like he wanted to disappear into the tile floor, Mr. Ray saw it right away. He didn't want to embarrass him. Kids didn't like attention when they were already trying to go unnoticed. But day after day, Liam sat in the same spot, ate less, and looked smaller somehow, even though he wasn't a small kid. Mr. Ray swept near his table every lunch shift. Not close enough to interrupt. Just enough to watch. Just in case something went wrong. One day he saw a group of kids glance at Liam and laugh. It wasn't anything major, just a snicker and a whisper. But Mr. Ray saw the way Liam shifted in his seat right after. The way he hunched his shoulders like he wanted to be smaller. That was enough. By Thursday, Mr. Ray had made up his mind. He wasn't going to let the boy keep eating alone. He didn't know if it would help. But doing nothing didn't sit right. The next day, right before the lunch bell, he made sure the floors were clear. He restocked the trays near the serving line, refilled the napkins, wiped down 2 tables. Then, while the noise started to fill the room, he leaned on his broom and waited. There Liam was, tray in both hands, head down, same path, same table. Sat down, opened his milk, poked at his food. Mr. Ray walked over slowly, careful not to attract attention. A few kids glanced his way but didn't think anything of it. He made his way around the tables, pretending to check the floor. When he reached Liam's table, he paused and spoke gently. "You mind if I sit with you a minute?" Liam looked up, startled. He blinked, unsure if he heard that right. Mr. Ray motioned to the bench. "Just for a minute. These old knees could use a break." Liam gave a small nod. "Yeah, sure." Mr. Ray sat down across from him, resting his broom against the table edge. "Name's Ray," he said. "But you probably already saw that on the patch." Liam gave the tiniest smile. "I'm Liam." "Nice to meet you, Liam." They sat quietly for a second. Liam looked down at his tray, then back up. "You usually sit with kids?" Mr. Ray shook his head. "Nah, not really. But I saw you here a few times. Figured you could use some company." Liam nodded slowly. "Yeah, thanks." Mr. Ray smiled. "I used to sit alone too, back in the day. It's not fun." Liam didn't say anything, but the way he looked down and nodded again said enough. "You like comic books?" Mr. Ray asked casually. Liam looked up. "Yeah, a lot." "Spider-Man?" Liam perked up. "Miles Morales is my favorite." "Good choice," Mr. Ray said. "Smart, brave, always doing the right thing even when no one's watching." They talked for a few more minutes. Not long. Just enough to break the silence. Just enough to make lunch feel like a human moment instead of something to survive. When the bell rang, Mr. Ray stood up and grabbed his broom. "See you around, Liam." Liam looked up. "Yeah, thanks for sitting with me." Mr. Ray nodded. "Any time." As the cafeteria emptied out, Liam walked out a little slower than usual. He didn't rush past the tables, didn't stare at the floor, and for the first time in 2 weeks, his tray wasn't full when he threw it away. Something small had shifted. And Mr. Ray knew, sometimes, small things make the biggest difference. The next day, Liam hesitated at the cafeteria doors. His tray was lighter than usual. He hadn't taken much, just a sandwich and a juice box, but his stomach was doing that tight, nervous thing again. The noise inside hit him like it always did. Dozens of voices, Trays clattering, laughter echoing off the walls. Same chaos, same tables. He scanned the room like always, but this time his eyes landed on the back corner for a different reason. Mr. Ray was already there, leaning against his broom near Liam's usual table. He wasn't cleaning, just waiting. Their eyes met for a second, and Mr. Ray gave a short nod. Liam didn't smile, not yet, but his steps felt a little easier, a little less like he was walking into a room full of strangers. He walked to the table, sat down, and opened his juice box. Mr. Ray didn't ask this time. He just sat on the bench across from him and leaned the broom gently against the edge. Liam didn't look up right away. He peeled the crust off his sandwich like he always did. "Morning's been something else," Mr. Ray said, rubbing the back of his neck. "Had to clean up a soda explosion in the science wing. Don't ask." Liam cracked a small grin. "Was it the 7th graders?" "Always is," Mr. Ray replied. "I swear, I need hazard pay just to survive their energy." Liam let out a quiet laugh, not loud enough to turn heads, but real. Mr. Ray pulled a small apple out of his pocket and started peeling it with a pocket knife. The knife was old, but clean. He worked the blade slowly, carefully. "You always eat here?" Liam asked. Mr. Ray glanced up. "Not really. Usually eat outside when the weather's decent, but I figured this spot needed some good conversation." Liam looked down at his sandwich again. "You don't have to, you know." Mr. Ray nodded. "I know, but I want to." Liam took a bite, chewed, then asked, "Did you really sit alone when you were in school?" Mr. Ray's hands paused. "I did, for a while. Moved a lot when I was a kid. Every school felt like starting over." Liam nodded slowly. "Same." Mr. Ray smiled gently. "It gets better, you know. Might not feel like it yet, but it does." Liam looked around the cafeteria. It didn't feel like it yet. Every table was still packed with kids who barely noticed him. But it also didn't feel as bad today. He looked back at Mr. Ray. "How'd it get better for you?" "Someone talked to me," he said. "One day a kid just sat down and said, 'You're not that weird. I'll sit with you.' Wasn't a big thing, but I remembered it." Liam smiled again. "Sounds like a cool kid." "Was a little annoying, actually," Mr. Ray said. "But yeah, cool." They kept talking. This time, a little longer. Mr. Ray told a story about a bird getting trapped in the gym last year. Liam told him about his dog back in his old town, and how he missed walking him every morning. They didn't talk about being lonely, or sad, or any of that. They just talked. And for Liam, that was enough. Halfway through lunch, something strange happened. A boy from another table walked by. Blonde hair, basketball jersey, earbuds in. He paused at the corner of Liam's table and looked at Mr. Ray. "You fixed the vending machine yet?" the boy asked. "Still jammed," Mr. Ray replied. "But I'll wrestle it later." The boy grinned, then looked at Liam. "Hey, I like your shoes." Liam blinked. Thanks." The boy nodded and walked off. It was nothing. Just 2 seconds. But Liam stared at the spot where the kid had stood. Mr. Ray tapped the table. "Sometimes that's all it takes." Liam looked up. "What?" "Being seen." When the bell rang, Liam stood up a little straighter. He didn't rush, didn't bolt for the door. He tossed his trash and looked back once. Mr. Ray gave him a quick thumbs up. And just like that, lunch wasn't the worst part of his day anymore. Friday came fast. Liam didn't dread lunch that morning the way he usually did. He didn't fake a stomachache. He didn't ask to go to the nurse's office. He just walked to the cafeteria like every other kid. But today felt different. He still held his tray the same way, still walked the same path past the crowded tables. But his eyes weren't locked on the floor this time. He looked around, quick glances, not long ones, but enough to see who else was there. Enough to notice that not everyone looked happy, even in a loud room full of people. When he reached the back table, Mr. Ray was already sitting there. Same broom leaning against the bench, same warm smile. "Saved your seat," Mr. Ray said. Liam sat down, set his tray on the table, and opened his juice. "Thanks. How's the day been?" "Better," Liam said. "Didn't fail my math quiz." "That's worth celebrating. We talking high C or low B?" "Solid C+." Mr. Ray grinned. "Close enough to a B in my book." They kept talking like they had the day before. Nothing deep, just stories. Mr. Ray told one about a possum he once found in the school's supply closet. Liam told him about the time he accidentally emailed his entire class a meme meant for his cousin. They laughed. A real laugh this time. The kind that made Liam forget, just for a second, where he was. Then something unexpected happened. A boy from a nearby table, tall, tan skin, hair dyed blue at the tips, stood up and walked over. His name was Jordan. Everyone knew him. He wasn't one of the super popular kids, but he was cool enough to float between groups. Always had his sketchbook out in class. Wore headphones in the halls. He stopped beside the table. "Hey," Jordan said, nodding at Mr. Ray. "That seat taken?" Liam froze for half a second. Mr. Ray looked up. "Not at all. You know Liam?" Jordan glanced at Liam and gave a quick smile. "Not really, but I've seen him around. Mind if I sit?" Liam cleared his throat. Yeah, sure." Jordan sat down and dropped his tray beside Liam's. His sandwich was already unwrapped, and he started eating like it was the most normal thing in the world. "You draw?" Liam asked, trying not to sound nervous. Jordan nodded. "Mostly characters, fantasy stuff. I saw your sketch on your binder in English. That was yours, right?" Liam blinked. "Yeah, I didn't think anyone noticed that." "It was good," Jordan said. "Like, really good." Liam's ears turned a little pink. "Thanks." They talked for the next 10 minutes. About drawing, about video games, about a new movie trailer that dropped last night. Mr. Ray stayed quiet most of the time, just peeling another apple and listening. Every now and then he'd glance around the cafeteria like he always did, watching everything without ever really looking away from them. More kids started noticing. By the end of lunch, 2 more kids had wandered over. They didn't sit, not yet, but they leaned on the edge of the table. One tossed a chip into Jordan's juice box. Another dared Liam to eat a nugget dipped in chocolate pudding. He did. Everyone laughed. When the bell rang, they all stood up together. Jordan gave Liam a fist bump before walking off. "See you Monday, dude." Liam nodded. "Yeah, see you." Mr. Ray stood, picking up his broom again. "You all right?" he asked. Liam smiled, not the small, polite one he gave when people looked at him. A real one. "Yeah, I think I'm good." As they walked out together, Mr. Ray said, "Told you it gets better." "You were right," Liam said. "I just didn't think it would happen this fast." Mr. Ray chuckled. "Sometimes all it takes is one seat at the table." Liam looked back at the table where he used to sit alone. Now it didn't feel empty anymore. Not even close. Monday's lunch felt like a new world. Liam still walked into the cafeteria with his tray in both hands, but this time he wasn't scanning the room for an empty corner. He knew exactly where he was going. The back table wasn't empty anymore. Jordan was already there, sketchbook open, drawing something in quick lines with a pencil. 2 other kids, Trevor and Max, were sitting on either side of him, arguing about the best fast food fries. A girl named Zoe had just sat down at the end of the bench, opening a bag of carrot sticks and laughing at something Max had said. Liam walked up, and before he could even say anything, Jordan looked up. "Yo, we saved your spot." Liam grinned and sat down between Trevor and Zoe. "Thanks." Mr. Ray wasn't at the table today. Liam noticed that right away. No broom leaning against the bench, no quiet voice starting a conversation. He looked around the room and saw Mr. Ray near the kitchen doors, pushing a mop cart and chatting with one of the lunch ladies. He hadn't forgotten. He was just watching. Liam turned back to the table. Jordan slid his sketchbook across the table. "Check this out. I made a version of your character idea." Liam leaned in. On the page was a detailed drawing of a hooded figure with glowing eyes and armor made of leaves and shadow. It was exactly how he imagined it, but better. "This is amazing," Liam said. Jordan grinned. "We should work on a full story." Trevor leaned in. "Wait, you guys are making comics?" "Kind of," Liam said. "It started with a sketch on my binder." "I draw spaceships," Trevor said, "but they usually explode." "Good enough for me," Jordan said. They all laughed. The rest of lunch went fast. Zoe told a story about her cat falling into the bathtub. Max did a terrible impression of their science teacher. Liam told them about the time he fell off a sled and broke his arm on a flat driveway. No one looked at him weird. No one laughed at him. They just laughed with him. For the first time since moving to this school, Liam felt like he wasn't on the outside looking in. He was part of something. Halfway through lunch, Liam caught sight of someone walking past the table. It was a girl he'd seen a few times before. Quiet, short, always reading. She carried her tray like it weighed 50 pounds and walked with her eyes low, scanning for a seat. Liam watched her stop by a table with two girls. One of them looked up, shook her head, and turned away. The girl kept walking. Something clicked in Liam's chest. He stood up. "Hey!" he called. The girl froze, looked around like she wasn't sure who he was talking to. Liam motioned to the open seat beside him. "You can sit here if you want." She hesitated. Jordan looked up and nodded. "Yeah, come on. We've got room." Trevor slid down to make space. Slowly, the girl walked over. She sat at the end of the bench and set her tray down. "Thanks," she said softly. "I'm Liam," he said. "This is Jordan, Trevor, Max, Zoe. I'm Alina." "Cool name," Zoe said, smiling. For a second, Alina didn't say anything else, but then she smiled too. Just a little. Liam looked across the room. Mr. Ray was standing near the trash bins, mop leaning on the wall. He wasn't looking directly at Liam, but somehow Liam knew he'd seen it. And just like that, Liam understood what Mr. Ray meant last week. Sometimes all it takes is one person, one seat, one, "Hey, you can sit with us." It wasn't a big thing. It didn't make the whole cafeteria fall silent. It didn't stop all the cliques or end all the loneliness in the world. But for Alina, it changed today. Just like Mr. Ray had changed Liam's. And lunch kept going, louder, messier, and fuller than ever. Tuesday came, and for the first time since Liam had started at Westfield Middle, Mr. Ray didn't sit with him at lunch. Liam noticed it right away. He walked into the cafeteria with his tray, same as always, but this time his eyes were scanning for Mr. Ray, not for an empty seat. He wasn't by the vending machines. He wasn't near the lunch line. He wasn't sweeping his usual path past the back tables. For a moment, Liam felt a small wave of panic, like something was missing. But then he looked at the table, his table, and saw Jordan, Max, Zoe, Trevor, and Alina already sitting, already laughing. Jordan waved him over without even looking up from his sketchbook. "Yo, Liam, you're late." Liam smiled and walked over. "I had to stop by the library. Teacher caught me with gum yesterday. Rookie mistake, Max said. Never chew gum in Ms. Porter's class. She hears it from across the building. As Liam sat down, Zoe passed him a bag of pretzels. Alina scooted over to give him room. He was in. Not next to, not near, not tolerated. In. The table felt full now. The kind of full that meant people were comfortable, talking over each other, stealing each other's fries, doodling on napkins and arguing about whether cereal was soup. Liam laughed at a joke Max made, even though it didn't make much sense. He offered a trade, half his cookie for one of Zoe's carrots. She made a face but agreed. He glanced around the cafeteria. He saw kids in their usual groups, some talking loudly, others buried in their phones. But then he saw something else. 2 tables down, another kid was sitting alone. He didn't look upset, just quiet, eating slowly, looking down a lot. Liam watched him for a second. He thought about what it used to feel like. Sitting by yourself while everyone else had someone. Picking at your food, pretending it didn't matter, hoping nobody noticed, but also wishing someone would. Then he looked at Mr. Ray. He was at the far end of the cafeteria today, near the double doors, wiping down a table that wasn't even dirty. But every now and then, he'd glance toward Liam's table. Just for a second. Their eyes met. Mr. Ray didn't smile, didn't wave, just gave the smallest nod. Liam nodded back. He got it now. Mr. Ray didn't sit with him today, not because he forgot, and not because he was too busy, but because he knew Liam didn't need him there anymore. The table was full, and not just with food or noise, but with people, with friends. Liam turned back to his group. "Hey," he said, pointing at a napkin sketch Jordan had drawn. "What if that guy had powers but could only use them when he's afraid?" Jordan's eyes lit up. "That's actually genius." Max leaned over. "What powers?" "Flight," Alina said quietly, "but only when he's scared." "Like his body's trying to escape," Zoe added. Liam grinned. "Yeah, that." They all started shouting ideas at once. Plot twists, weaknesses, names for the character. Jordan was scribbling as fast as he could. No one noticed that Mr. Ray had quietly exited through the side doors. He didn't need to stay today. He had already done what he came to do. And now, Liam wasn't just eating lunch. He was building stories, making plans, laughing. He was seen. And now, so were others. Because Mr. Ray had stepped in once, now Liam could step up. The janitor had given him something bigger than company. He'd given him the courage to belong and the strength to make room for someone else. The broom stayed leaning on the wall, but the lesson stayed at the table. The last bell of the day had just rung when Liam spotted Mr. Ray near the mop closet at the end of the hallway. The school was emptying out fast. Backpacks zipped, lockers slammed, kids shouting across the halls, already making weekend plans. But Liam didn't follow the crowd this time. He turned the other way. Mr. Ray was organizing supplies, lining up bottles of floor cleaner and stacking rolls of paper towels. His back was to the hallway, but he must have heard the footsteps because he looked up before Liam said anything. "Hey, kid," Mr. Ray said, smiling faintly. "You survived the day?" Liam nodded. "Yeah, more than survive, actually." Mr. Ray chuckled. "That's so." Liam stepped closer, his hands in his hoodie pocket. He hesitated for a second, then said it straight. "Thanks for seeing me." Mr. Ray blinked, caught off guard. He didn't speak right away. Liam continued. "You didn't have to do anything. I know that. But you did. And it made everything different." Mr. Ray leaned against the mop handle, his expression calm and serious now. "You were never invisible, Liam. Just needed someone to remind you." Liam looked down at the floor, then back up. "That first day you sat with me, I thought it was weird. Like, people were going to think something was wrong with me." "Did they?" Mr. Ray asked. "No," Liam said. "They didn't. And even if they did, it stopped mattering." Mr. Ray nodded slowly. "Most of the time, people don't know what to do when they see someone sitting alone. They look, then they look away. Doesn't mean they're mean. Just uncertain." "I guess," Liam said. "I just kept waiting for someone to say something. Invite me over." Mr. Ray's voice was soft but steady. "Sometimes you wait forever. That's why I don't wait anymore." Liam leaned against the doorframe. "I think I get it now. What you did, it wasn't just about sitting with me." Mr. Ray raised an eyebrow. "Oh, yeah?" "You were showing me how to be that person," Liam said. "The one who notices, the one who says something first." Mr. Ray smiled. "Exactly." Liam pulled his backpack strap up higher on his shoulder. "Alina sat with us today. She looked like how I used to feel." "I saw that," Mr. Ray said, his voice warmer now. "You did good." Liam looked down the hallway, where the last of the students were disappearing around the corner. "Do you ever get tired of doing this? Helping people like that?" Mr. Ray's reply came without hesitation. "Nope. Because every time I do, I think about how different my life would have been if someone had done it for me sooner." Liam nodded. "I think I'll remember this for a long time." "I hope you do," Mr. Ray said. "But more than that, I hope you pass it on. That's the whole point." Liam stepped forward, not sure why, and held out his hand. Mr. Ray took it in a firm shake. "Thanks again," Liam said. Mr. Ray smiled. "Don't thank me yet. You've still got a lot of lunches ahead of you. Keep an eye out. You'll know when it's your turn." Liam nodded, turning to leave. As he walked down the hall toward the front doors, the school felt different. Warmer, maybe. Or maybe it was just him. He passed kids laughing by the lockers, teachers packing up. Someone dropped a water bottle and a friend picked it up without being asked. It wasn't a perfect place. No school ever is. But now, Liam knew he didn't have to wait for someone to fix everything. He could start with one person, one lunch, one empty seat. A few weeks later, the cafeteria looked completely different to Liam. Not the walls or the tables or the food. Those were all the same. The milk still tasted weird, the fries were still soggy, and someone was still always dropping a tray at least once a week. But everything else felt different. The table where Liam used to sit alone, it wasn't empty anymore. Not even close. Now it was packed. Jordan sat at one end, sketching on napkins and flipping his pencil like a drummer twirling a stick. Zoe brought extra snacks and passed them around like a mom on a field trip. Trevor argued about video games with Max while Alina quietly read her book between bites of an apple. "And Liam?" Liam sat in the middle. He didn't say much about it, but they all knew this table belonged to him. Not because he claimed it, not because anyone made it official, but because he had built it, piece by piece, the way someone once did for him. The table had grown. Some days it had 7 people. Some days it had 10. Some days kids floated in and out, swapping stories, trading cookies, asking to borrow a pencil. No one ever got turned away. And on this particular Thursday, just as Liam was opening his juice box, he saw someone new walk into the cafeteria. A boy, skinny, glasses, hoodie that looked too big, stood near the doors holding a tray that was shaking just enough to spill milk over the edge. He glanced around the room fast, clearly trying to find a place to land. Liam recognized the look right away. He'd worn it himself. Jordan was saying something about a new game trailer, but Liam didn't hear it. He stood up. He didn't wait. He didn't ask if someone else was going to say something first. He walked across the cafeteria, right up to the kid with the shaking tray. "Hey," Liam said, calm and easy. "Want to sit with us?" The boy looked up, surprised. Yeah, sure." "I'm Liam," he said. "What's your name?" "Ethan." "Cool. Come on, we've got room." Liam led the way back to the table. As they approached, Zoe smiled and moved her bag. Trevor made a joke about Max's pudding explosion from yesterday. Jordan looked up and nodded. "Yo, new kid. You into comics?" "A little," Ethan said, unsure if it was the right answer. "Good," Jordan said. "You're in the right spot." Ethan sat down. Liam handed him an extra napkin, then turned back to his tray. That was it. Simple, easy, quiet, but powerful. Across the cafeteria, Mr. Ray stood by the broom closet, sipping his coffee and scanning the room like he always did. Not looking for trouble, just noticing. He saw the exchange, saw Ethan sit down, saw the whole table shift without losing a beat. And he smiled. He didn't walk over, didn't need to. He just picked up his broom, gave the floor a slow sweep, and let the moment speak for itself. Because he knew, the table that once held just one boy was now the kind of place where no one sat alone unless they wanted to. The kind of place that didn't wait for someone else to act. The kind of place that got built on a small decision. One person sitting down, one moment of kindness, one simple, quiet yes. Liam didn't need help anymore. Now he was the one giving it. And lunch at Westfield Middle would never feel the same again. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy meaningful stories like this, we'd love to have you as a subscriber.